Alright, so I'm going to take this car out for a little drive, get it all warmed up. I'll talk a little bit about how I got the car and why I like it and why I don't like it. So I got this car brand new in 2011. Got it new from the Capital Expressway dealership, and it was stunning when I first got it. Drove amazing. Rumble is intoxicating, but I don't know, I'd heard a lot of stories about guys having STIs, and pretty much every single one of them blew it up. You know, one of my closer friends, he had one and blew the motor twice, but I mean, it's just because they tune them. So I had mine and drove it for a while, liked the power, you know, really enjoy the sound and the looks, and you know, everybody likes it, all the little kids want one. So I had to tune it. So I got the Cobb Access Port Stage 1 tuner, and it was great. I drove on it for about 20,000 miles, and it started using a lot of oil. And the oil consumption got so bad that I was a little bit concerned. It started coming off the dipstick when I would go check, even after a couple tanks of fuel. So I was up in Yosemite actually, and I was going through the rock bridge, and I could hear that the car wasn't running right. And that was really the first time that I could tell that there was something definitely wrong. So I called up the dealership up in Modesto, and they said, well, bring it in. And I said, well, what if the car blows up? And they said, well, damage is already done. Out the cylinder. Took a while. I had to prove all my records of changing the oil and whatnot. But they replaced it, and I was really surprised. I was happy. I didn't really think that it was going to work. I kind of figured, well, they're going to hone this cylinder out, they're going to put the same size cylinder in, it's just going to start leaking oil, and sure enough, that's exactly what happened. You know, it just was slowly eating oil, and more, over about 5,000 miles or so, I could really tell that the car wasn't running right. So I brought it back in, and the dealership said, you know, we got to drive it a little bit, just to see what the oil consumption is. So they topped it off and they gave it to their driver, and the driver drove it around. He put 300 miles on it, so he did a full tank of gas, and they checked the oil, and it wasn't enough consumption. So they filled it up and they told their driver, well, we think it's during turbo boost that it is using the oil more. So they told the driver to hit the gas, the second tank. So I let him drive him another 300 miles. He drove it, they did the inspection, and they said that it used just slightly over what the Subaru recommended spec was. I believe the Subaru recommended, what was it? For 1,200 miles, I think they wanted 0.3 or something of liter of consumption. Anyways, it was over it. So they worked with Subaru North America to get me a new block. So they installed the new block. It was a month and a half of a wait for that. I installed it, I broke it in. I broke it in a little differently than I did before. I tried to drive a little harder. About the Motor 1. I was just had it sit in my garage for a while. I figured I might as well use it. Didn't have enough cash flow. 35,000. I'm about halfway through the life of this motor, I guess. And it's running good. Fourth gear seems to be a little choppy getting into it. I really need to match the revs now to get it perfect.